Today we're going to drive the Volkswagen Golf R and the GTI out on track and do a little bit of a comparison, see how they both feel out here at Road America in the wet. The Golf R now is DCT only, as is the GTI, so they've gotten rid of the manual transmission, unfortunately. We have some nice looking new seats here, kind of a mishmash of seat controls, a bit of physical, a bit of electric. Driving position though, feels excellent. Bigger screen here, bunch of different drive modes. We will probably just leave us, let's see here, let's get out of this wherever we are here. We will just leave us in sport and probably shift our gears ourselves. It is a very rainy, greasy day out at Road America. Though, driving in the wet isn't as scary and sketchy as it used to be before the repave. Ever since they've repaved this track, it's a lot more consistent out here. A little bit of standing water today, some bigger puddles we have to watch out for. But we have a good tire on this Golf R. It feels pretty good in the wet. Massive paddle shifters here. We'll start off in sport mode, S1 for our gearbox, and in sport mode for our drive mode. The DSG here is fantastic. The 2-liter turbo makes great power. The all-wheel drive system does a great job with some trick things with its rear differential. Nice interior materials for the money, a great value, but I'm questioning whether it's actually that much more fun to drive than the GTI. I've always thought the GTI, especially the new generation, drives awesome. I have issues with the infotainment and with the buttons and everything, but overall, dynamically, these new products for Volkswagen are a lot of fun. Power here is awesome. Really quick, snappy shifts from the DSG. A little bit of steering feel here too. I can feel the texture of the pavement. Kind of get a sense for how much grip I have from those front tires. And again, we're not going for all-out lap times here today at Road America. We're just getting a feel for this car at speeds greater than what we would be able to do on the road. Watch out for that big puddle. Shifts are incredibly quick here with this Golf R. Awesome power on the straight. Brakes are very responsive, good bite. Volkswagen finally figured out their braking hardware on these cars and it just works awesome. Not limiting me too much with downshifts there. All-wheel drive pulling us out of that corner nicely. Honestly, guys, this drives awesome on track. A little bit of a polar moment there, taking us out with all-wheel drive. We want to be about half a car off the racing line in the wet. Sometimes that's a little bit challenging, but just trying to stay a little bit more inside the track today. Oh, forgot to shift there. I shifted, but the car forgot. Steering weight's up beautifully. The gearbox is just so responsive. You guys can hear and see what's going on today. This car drives great. DSG doesn't deny downshifts here. And it just rockets out of a corner. Look at that. This is the car you want when you're driving in the rain. It's just so capable. A little bit of ABS there coming into these cones. This is fun. I've always loved driving in the wet, but something like this just gives you a little bit more confidence and the ability to push, push, push. All right, beautiful. There's a quick lap in the Golf R around Road America. Awesome power, awesome brakes, chassis and handling feel fantastic. The infotainment is an improvement. It's faster, it's bigger. You can do things a little bit differently with the design. I think if you lived with it, it'd probably be okay. It's not ideal. I'd rather have physical controls for some things, but at the end of the day, as a driver's car, this is still a great option. It's more comfortable, a little bit more refined than a lot of its competition, but it can still hang on a racetrack, and I think that is important for the driving enthusiast. If you're not, maybe you're not tracking your Golf R, but you're taking it out for a spirited drive through the canyons on some good back roads, yeah, you can have a lot of fun in this thing. And in the winter, and the snow, and the ice, oh my gosh, you guys, we went ice racing with the Golf R a couple years ago. It actually won its class. It was so capable. Yeah, you'll have a good time in the snow as well. All right, let's go find us a Volkswagen GTI to drive and compare this to. I think the GTI is going to be very capable, but it will just kind of lack that extra edge and power and aggressiveness that you see with this Golf R. This thing really has a lot of performance, and it's a very impressive package on track. So we'll leave it at that for now. We have a set of Hankook Ventus S1 Evo tires here. They perform great on track in the wet. Yeah, nice hardware here from the Golf R. It seems like pretty good cooling too. We were braking pretty heavily in some of those corners, and the brakes seem to be pretty cool now. All right, let's hop into the GTI here and compare how this feels to the Golf R on track. It's a very similar looking interior, slightly different seats. I've always liked the GTI. I had a Mark 6 GTI back in the day, and it was kind of one of the best dailies I've ever owned. Volkswagen has finally figured out how to make this work well on a racetrack with a limited slip front differential, good amount of power. We'll select sport mode here. It sounds good, it has good brakes, goes like stink. Brakes still feel pretty good here. And we even get a couple burbles and pops from that exhaust, which I think is exciting. Okay, cool. We're off. We're just gonna set off, put in sport mode, and hit it. Immediately noticing, not as much power as the Golf R. Brakes aren't quite as sharp, but still doing a pretty good job out here. Steering feel about the same. We're gonna put us into manual mode. Denying a couple downshifts there. This DSG isn't tuned as aggressively as it is in the Golf R, but power still feels great for what this thing is. Coming into the slalom here, letting that front limited slip diff pull us out. Oh, the GTI is still a lot of fun. Yeah, it just doesn't quite have that performance edge that you see from the Golf R. Full ABS there. Still though, not bad. It doesn't want me to go into second as easily. Some of these corners are a little bit sketchier than others in the wet. But overall, feeling pretty good out today at Road America. Getting some driving assistance errors there. Love the way the steering weight's up here. I don't really know if I'm having any less fun here than I am versus the Golf R, but there is definitely a big performance difference. Traction control doing us a lot of favors there. And this car's been out on track quite a bit today, so we might be seeing a little bit of heat soaking with the 2-liter turbo. This front diff. It does a great job giving you traction out of corners in a low grip environment. On a day like today, this is a very nice car to drive on track. Ultimately, it comes down to your budget and what you want out of the car. If you're driving hard, if you're driving in the winter, if you're maybe doing some track days, you want the fastest, most capable Volkswagen hot hatch, you kind of got to get the Golf R. The DSG is just a little bit sharper, a little bit crisper, and more responsive in that car. Everything is just tuned up a notch. Is it worth the $10,000 price delta or so? Probably. It probably is. But also, that said, the GTI for most people is probably the car that would do it all. And if you're not going to be driving it super hard, if you just kind of want a nice daily, ultimately the differences aren't going to extend much beyond the fact that this is front-wheel drive and the Golf R is all-wheel drive. In the winter and the snow, the Golf R will be fantastic. This will just get you through. But, oh man, it is fun to drive both cars back to back. I think at 5 or 6 tenths, you don't really notice that much of a difference between the two. Once you start to really push, that's when the Golf R starts to shine a lot and gets really good. So maybe this is what you guys expected to hear, to see. Maybe it isn't, but yeah, I give high marks to both cars here. I think both did fantastic. I'm actually surprised at how much sharper the Golf R actually is over this GTI. That didn't quite used to be the case, but with the extra power, the improved limited slip rear differential here, the retuned gearbox, it all comes together to be a really nice package with the Golf R. And this GTI is still dynamically, I think, the best GTI they've ever made. Well, and on that note, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed that comparison between GTI and Golf R. We'll walk you guys around this one more time, and that'll be a wrap. We will miss the manual gearbox, especially in the GTI. I think the DSG is maybe a little bit more at home in the Golf R, just because it really opens up that performance envelope for the car. But in the GTI, I thought the manual was just always such a great choice. It had good feel, it was fun, it was engaging, and the dual clutch in this just isn't quite as exciting, I feel like. So anyway, hopefully we see a manual again at some point, but until then, ooh, these brakes are a little bit frosted here. Got some temperature in them. Fronts still feel pretty good with cooling. Again, if you're going to be tracking your car, you're probably going to want to stick with the Golf R. It just has the extra hardware. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.